You became productive around the same time you stopped feeling good enough. Now even resting feels dangerous because your brain keeps translating stillness into failure. This video is about the people who keep trying to improve their lives while quietly feeling like they're already too late. Late at night, laptop still open. A half-finished to-do list beside 3 tabs about self-improvement. You check someone's engagement photos, close the app immediately, then open a productivity video you've already watched twice. The room is quiet, except for keyboard clicks and the sound of another plan being rewritten. Part of you genuinely wants your life to change. Another part no longer trusts your own promises because you've heard them too many times before. You keep telling yourself next month will feel different. It never fully does. This video is not about laziness. It's about what happens when self-worth slowly becomes attached to visible progress, and ordinary human pace starts feeling like personal failure. If this feels uncomfortably familiar, stay with it. Not because this will fix you, because you may finally recognize what's actually happening underneath the pressure. The strange part is that this anxiety rarely looks dramatic from the outside. Most of the time, it just looks like productivity. This anxiety doesn't always show up immediately. Sometimes, it hides under the guise of productivity. You find yourself opening task managers and organizing schedules late at night instead of sleeping. Instead of executing, you spend hours rewriting goals and rearranging bullet points. Then you scroll past an old acquaintance announcing a major milestone on social media, and your hand silently lowers the screen brightness. A subtle ache hits as you mentally check your age before making any decision. Another tab, another plan, another midnight. Right now, your brain treats the lack of visible progress like an immediate danger. Constant optimization has simply become an emotional shield to protect yourself from feeling inadequate. It keeps a single thought running through your mind. I should be further along than this by now. The cost is that rest starts feeling irresponsible. Ordinary days are instantly labeled as wasted potential. You stopped relaxing because stillness started sounding like failure. And this fear of falling behind doesn't just disappear. In fact, certain milestones and dates make it absolutely impossible to ignore. Some people hate birthdays for reasons they never say out loud. You sit at a warm birthday dinner, surrounded by laughter and glowing candlelight, but your mind is busy calculating lost years. New Year's Eve, which is supposed to feel hopeful, feels heavy instead. You smile during the celebrations, but internally, you are withdrawing into yourself. Then at 1 a.m., you scroll past 30 under 30 posts on your feed. The calendar changed. You didn't. Why do these milestones hurt so deeply? It's because the brain converts passing time into self-evaluation. Temporal markers create imaginary deadlines. You weren't reacting to the date. You were reacting to what the date seemed to prove. It keeps a single thought running through your mind. Everyone else moved forward while I stayed the same. The cost is that celebrations become grief triggers. Optimism starts creating dread. And to escape that dread, you look for a fixation. That's when planning starts feeling addictive. You don't always plan because you believe in the future. Sometimes you plan because reality feels unbearable. You buy new journals right after bad weeks. You set up color-coded routines that are never followed. Instead of acting, you spend hours watching self-improvement videos. You find yourself restarting life every single Monday. Planning creates temporary relief. Imagined progress calms shame. Planning feels productive until months pass. For many people, obsessive self-improvement is not discipline. It's anxiety management. You become addicted to preparation instead of change. You kept reorganizing your life instead of living it. It keeps a single thought running through your mind. Maybe this new system will finally fix me. You turned productivity into emotional sedation. And most people learn this pattern long before adulthood. The pressure didn't start last year. You stood there, a silent child, listening to parents comparing you to your siblings, or standing before a teacher sighing about your wasted potential. You watched classmates progress faster, only for that same dread to return years later as family members grilled you about your career during the holidays. The brain stores early comparison as identity truth. You grew older. The measuring voice didn't. Adult life becomes filtered through outdated expectations. Part of you is still trying to earn approval from rooms you already left. It keeps a single, inherited thought running through your mind. By this age, I was supposed to be someone else. Many adults still measure themselves using standards absorbed before they even understood real life, and that pressure changes how you experience other people. You don't hate successful people. You hate who you become after comparing yourself. You start making excuses to avoid school reunions. You silently mute successful friends on your feed. Every time you find yourself scrolling and seeing their highlight reels, you feel an undeniable heaviness settling in. You slowly lose the ability to celebrate others naturally. Their life kept moving. Your chest tightened. The brain interprets visible success as proof of personal delay. Comparison didn't just steal confidence. It changed your nervous system. Relationships become emotionally exhausting. It keeps a single thought running through your mind. I'm happy for them. I just can't survive what this makes me feel. Chronic comparison slowly turns other people's happiness into evidence against yourself. Eventually, the pressure stops motivating you. There's a specific exhaustion that comes from disappointing yourself repeatedly. You write down the exact same goals year after year. You pick up half-finished habits only to drop them weeks later. In a moment of frustration, you quietly delete the notes apps from your phone. You find yourself softly lowering your expectations. You stopped announcing goals. Failing privately hurts less. This is not laziness. It is a defense mechanism. The brain protects itself by reducing hope before more disappointment occurs. The cost is that you stop trusting yourself. It keeps a single inherited thought running through your mind. I don't even believe my own promises anymore. Repeated self-disappointment eventually turns ambition into emotional fatigue. And eventually, you start asking a more dangerous question. What if the problem was never motivation? You constantly imagine future versions of yourself. You delay rest until you achieve something. You feel worthless during unproductive days. You need a future transformation to justify self-acceptance. Potential became your hiding place. You built your identity around a person who never arrived. Identity becomes emotionally attached to potential instead of reality. The present self never feels worthy of existing. It keeps a single thought running through your mind. Maybe I'll deserve my life later. Some people stay obsessed with becoming because they don't know who they are without striving. Eventually, something inside you gets tired of chasing. There's a difference between wanting something and inheriting the desire for it. You realize your personal goals sound exactly like parental expectations. You notice your success metrics don't match your actual values. Yet you feel a strange sense of relief after stepping away from comparison temporarily. The brain mistakes repetition for truth. Maybe the timeline was never yours. You called it ambition because calling it fear felt worse. It keeps a single thought running through your mind. Who decided this was the correct life path? Most timelines people suffer under were inherited, not consciously chosen. People chase lives they never genuinely wanted. And that uncomfortable observation changes something slowly. Some people never become confident. They just become less at war with themselves. You wake up without mentally calculating your progress. You watch others succeed without collapsing internally. You exist without constant self-evaluation. Nothing transformed overnight. The pressure weakened before the circumstances changed. The nervous system relaxes when identity is no longer tied entirely to advancement. You must grieve the fantasy self first. It keeps a single thought running through your mind. Maybe my life isn't late. Maybe it's just real. Relief begins when people stop treating ordinary human pace as evidence of failure. Maybe the exhaustion was never caused by being behind. Maybe it came from spending years treating your life like a problem that needed to justify itself before you were allowed to fully exist inside it. Some people don't burn out from work. They burn out from constant self-evaluation. This video is for the people who secretly measure every ordinary Tuesday against the person they thought they would become by now. The people who can't sit still without mentally calculating progress. You weren't failing at life. You were living under permanent review. I'm curious what moment hit you the hardest. Not the biggest insight, the most uncomfortably accurate part. If these videos help you recognize parts of yourself you normally keep hidden, you can stay here for the next one. Tonight, try noticing how often your mind turns your life into a deadline. Then notice the room around you when it finally stops for a second.